This is the Phillies POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Philadelphia Phillies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Phillies POSTCAST. My name is Mark Farzetta. It's great to have you along for this ride. Connor Thomas has you covered each and every day with your Locked On Phillies daily podcast and content. I got you covered for your Locked On Phillies POSTCAST as your Philadelphia Phillies get an 8-0 win over the Toronto Blue Jays. Starting to feel a lot more like June, isn't it? Kyle Schwarber homers in back-to-back games for the first time this month. And I say the first time because I certainly hope it's the first of many. His third home run of the month. This was fantastic. That was the home run that broke the game open with his 3-run home run. Ranger Suarez is on an absolute historic pace right now, much like he was at the beginning of last season. Last season didn't end the way any of us wanted it to for Ranger Suarez, but certainly the beginning of the season, we were talking about stats that hadn't been accomplished since like 1893, 1913. It was absolutely bonkers insane. We got some great stats surrounding Ranger Suarez to really illustrate just how great he has been since since starting up his season late in the year for the Philadelphia Phillies. And how about Otto Kemp? We'll get into that man today. A multi-hit game, his first career RBI. You love everything about it. And the bullpen also able to keep the bats at bay through the final 2 innings they needed to log after they picked up for Ranger Suarez. Here's one thing that makes me feel fantastic about this Phillies game. The number one thing. So 3 big things. Boom, boom, boom. 3 big things. 1 is the player of the game without question. That one goes to...
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Ranger Suarez, obviously dominant on the hill tonight for the Phillies. 7 innings, just 4 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, needing 94 pitches to get through his 7 scoreless innings of work. Now, he had 7 innings, 2 runs going back to his start against Pittsburgh Pirates, but got a no run support. This time, plenty of run support for Ranger Suarez. And how about these numbers? This will just drive you bananas, okay, in a positive way. Paul Casella of MLB.com, he's based in Philadelphia, doesn't have that many followers. I don't know this guy, but I always see Todd Zielecki retweeting him of MLB.com, Phillies.com, Todd Zielecki. The stats this kid puts out, this gentleman, I should say, puts out are fantastic. Ranger Suarez now 6+ scoreless innings in half of his 8 outings this season. Now listen to this. Despite missing the first 5 weeks, only 3 pitchers have more starts of 6 or more innings, 6 or more scoreless innings. Skubal, obviously, Yamamoto, and Sonny Gray. How about that for Ranger? And then this one, my brain just exploded. Since that first start of the season where he allowed 7 runs, he has bounced back 6 earned runs in 46 2/3 innings pitched. He does the math for you, does Paul Casella, worth a follow on social media there. 1.16 ERA for Ranger Suarez, the only starting pitcher to have better numbers than that since May 10th, Paul Skeens. How's that for some solid company for Ranger Suarez? Not too shabby at all. Here's the thing. Tonight, what I noticed that it was working so well for him, Ranger Suarez, the changeup was working well. The curveball was working well. First inning, he threw a sinker to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and it was out over the middle of the plate, but totally caught Guerrero off guard, which is hard to do, and he sat him down looking at that pitch. He comes up against Bichette in the 3rd inning, throws him a changeup that left Bichette's head spinning, I should say. He got Barger to look at a sinker in the 5th inning to sit him down. Then he threw a 10-pitch at bat to Straw and capped it off with a sinker up in the zone and got him on that 3-2 sinker. Again, 10-pitch at bat to help get out of that inning. He finally, to end that full inning, which was a 20-pitch inning for him, he got Jimenez to ground out to second. But a 10-pitch battle that he won. How about that? Absolutely a phenomenal performance. Phenomenal performance by Ranger Suarez, and certainly deserving of player of the game. Congratulations to him. I'm sure he'll get his plaque in the mail. Let's talk about the turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
This, for me, goes down to when you really felt that this game was going to be the Phillies. Now, I'll take you through this. This is the second thing, by the way, because the second thing, number one is Ranger Suarez. Number two is Kyle Schwarber. So in that second inning, Brandon Marsh steps up to the plate. There's runners on first and second with one out. Runners on second and third with one out. Kemp had just hit his double. Marsh comes up there. He doubles off the right field wall, the base of the right field wall, but it was a long, towering fly ball to right field. Barge, I believe it was, is under it. Can't make the play. Bounces off the base of the wall. Now, Kemp is on second base. JT Realmuto is on first base. On third base. So he scores easily, but Kemp has to go back to second to tag up thinking the ball is going to be caught. It is not. Now, I went back and watched this many times. Kemp comes around second base, goes off second base, comes around third, goes to try to score, bang, bang, play at home. Absolute perfect plays there by the Blue Jays there. Absolutely incredible. Jimenez had an incredible throw from second to home to get the out. Everything was executed perfectly, other than the catch, right? But Kemp gets thrown out at home plate, bang, bang, play. I went back and I watched it a couple of times. It was 8 seconds from second for him to go from second to home. 8 seconds passed by. That's tough for a lot of guys to score on. It literally would have had to been perfect, and it was perfect. So I know it might seem like it took a long time. It didn't. It made sense after you watch it again. Then Turner steps up. He works a walk. So now you got 2 runners on. You got 2 runners on, 2 outs. Kyle Schwarber steps to the plate. He had homered, obviously, against the Cubs in the previous game 2 days ago. Would he keep it hot? He gets a 1-0 fastball, middle of the plate, that he just demolished to center field, 410 feet. 3-run home run goes from a 1-0 Phillies lead to a 4-0 Phillies lead. And knowing the way Ranger Suarez was pitching, you just felt like, they got this. Rangers going to give you 7. You're going to be good to go. I can trust the bullpen with a 4-run lead. That I can do. And the Phillies, guess what? They just kept adding on to it, and that's the third thing. The third biggest thing in all of this. Otto Kemp came up with an RBI single in the 6th inning to make it a 5-0 game. Then the Phillies put a couple more up. JT Realmuto gets an RBI double down the left field line, bringing home Max Kepler. He continues to hit. Good to see that. JT Realmuto, more importantly, continues to hit. Then you make it an 8-0 game after Brandon Marsh came up there with an RBI sac fly to center field, made it 7-0, 8-0 on Trey Turner's RBI single into left field. Phillies kept adding to the lead. That, to me, is the third biggest thing in this one. And really, the only time I was really sweating at all, now Taijuan Walker pitched the 8th. I know that sweating is even too dramatic, but like my eyebrows were raised. It was a 5-0 game when Joe Ross took over in that top of the 8th inning. Walked the first batter. He faced Jimenez on a 4-pitch at bat or plate appearance. Then after him, he saw Bichette. He got Bichette to ground into the 4-6 put out. After swinging at the first pitch, by the way, in that at bat, which you guys know me, you've watched me, you've listened. Oh my goodness gracious. It doesn't bother me as much as the next guy when people swing at the first pitch. It bothers me only and usually when a pitcher seems to have lost an arm slot and they swing at the first pitch. Hey, by all means, Bo Bichette, swing away, man. If it helps the Phils, swing away. Joe Ross walks a guy on 4 pitches. Very next batter swings at the first pitch. Nice job. But Joe Ross is able to get out of it, especially after an awful who was behind the plate tonight? Guccione was behind the plate tonight. I would describe the strike zone tonight as fluid. It didn't really have rigid edges. It was ever-changing. It was a bit of an amoeba of a strike zone, just a blob of what was a strike in one inning, wasn't in another. What was a strike in the at-bat earlier, wasn't a strike later in the at-bat. But, whatever. Phillies won, so I'm happy. But Joe Ross had a 2-1 pitch top of the zone in that 8th inning that was to Guerrero. He ended up walking him. But that 2-1 pitch was it wasn't high. It was at the top of the zone, about a full ball length within the zone, called a ball by Guccione. No bueno. But either way, he's able to get out of that inning. So you love to see. Then Taijuan Walker comes in, has a fairly easy 9th inning as well. So I'm happy the bullpen did their job as well in tonight's ball game. So that's what I look at. As far as what you'll be talking about tomorrow, we'll save that for what's next, but you just see guys in this lineup continue to hit. The guy we're going to focus on when we come back is a guy we've all been waiting for to turn a corner. We're going to talk about his numbers and what I've seen from him at the plate coming up in a second. This is Locked On Phillies Postcast on the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Where are my coffee drinkers at? Let's be real. Coffee isn't just a drink. It's a ritual. It's a lifeline. The thing that gets you from half asleep to fully functioning. And it's the essential good time you need in the morning. Why settle for anything less than amazing? That's where Trade Coffee comes in. The Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the United States, delivering fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Whether you're a cold brew fan, not for me, but it might be for you, or a pour-over purist, they've got a roast that you'll love. Love the absolute fantastic experience that I've had with Trade Coffee. I actually took Trade's quiz. They give you a quiz just so they know your taste buds better. They nailed it with me. I like that bold flavor, and they certainly provided that. Love their prices as well, comparable to grocery store brands as well, but the flavor is on a whole different level. Right now, Trade is exclusively offering our customers, our listeners, and our viewers 50% off your first month trial at drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. That's TRADE.com/lockedonmlb for 50% off your 1 month trial. Drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. How about FanDuel? NBA Finals getting in on the action. They're in full swing, as we well know, and FanDuel makes it so easy to get in on all the action. Before tip-off, during the game, player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have even more ways to get on the game than ever before. Going into Game 4, Pacers, 6-point favorites. Or excuse me, 6-point underdogs. Oklahoma City Thunder, 6-point favorites, despite TJ McConnell's heroics in Game 3. Also, going into it, Pascal Siakam went from a plus 2,000 favorite to be the MVP down to plus 950. How about that for Pascal Siakam? If you're new to FanDuel, now's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Let's take a second here and talk about JT Realmuto, a guy that certainly had my concerns up and running for the Philadelphia Phillies. I was looking at his numbers coming into tonight, and I got to say, what we have seen from JT Realmuto in recent history is certainly the guy that we want to see from JT Realmuto for the rest of the season. Now, when I say recent history, I mean the first 13 days of the month of June. We all talk about Kyle Schwarber. I alluded to it earlier. There's nobody has loved June this much since Johnny Cash when it comes to Kyle Schwarber, okay? If you know, you know. JT Realmuto, so far in the month of June, might be looking back on this month as the month that turned his season around. Coming into today, before his 2 hits, you see right here, JT Realmuto with his 2 hits going 2 for 3 today with a walk and an RBI. He's now over to 241. But that ain't a brag, friends. The 241 on the season, that ain't a brag. You know what is? When you go through the first 2 weeks of the month and you're hitting 310 going into today, before you got those 2 base knocks for yourself, before you got that double, that RBI double, that's what I want to see from JT Realmuto. A big difference between how the Phillies started the season and how the Phillies could end this season could rely on the shoulders of 2 people. Other than Bryce Harper coming back, great to see him fielding grounders at first base, by the way. Love to see that. Maybe, fish a wish, and to get him back by that Sunday night game against the Mets, the last game of that series, cross your fingers, maybe even for the series. I don't know. Let's get crazy. I would doubt it, but I'm hoping. But back to JT Realmuto. JT Realmuto just seems locked in at the plate right now. He is not trying to do too much. He's going with pitches. He's anticipating pitches well. If he's guessing, he seems to be guessing right. Whatever he's doing, it just seems to be working beautifully. One of the things I've just noticed from him, I don't see him pressing at the plate as much, letting the game come to him. This man seems to be out of the quicksand as far as I'm concerned. Before, you'd see some wild swings. A lot of times it comes down to that leg kick. If his timing is on with that, then he's going to be on as a hitter. Everything has looked better with JT Realmuto over the last 2 weeks, and the results are there to prove it. So love to see that for him. We'd love to see it keep it going. Another guy you want to see make sure that he continues to hit here is Brandon Marsh. Now, somebody, I think in the chat in one of my most recent postcasts talked about, Brandon Marsh is going to be the make or break guy or something like that. And I'm like, well, if you're a team of cold hitters and you're one of your hot hitters and Bryce Harper is now out of the lineup, and then another hot hitter and Brandon Marsh hurt his wrist or his elbow, whatever it was, sliding into second base against the Cubbies, well, you can't afford to lose that guy either. It's not saying that Brandon Marsh is all of a sudden the leader on this team and the guy that makes them click, but if he's hot and nobody else in the lineup is hot, and you already lost the guy in the lineup that was hot, then I don't want to lose any other guys that are hot. Understand what I'm saying? Brandon Marsh coming out with another hit tonight. Love to see that for him. And how about this? Casty, unfortunately, only worked a walk today, no hit. Johan Rojas went in the center field later in the ball game, but everyone but Casty that got an AB today got a hit. It's, I believe, the second straight game the Phillies had all but one player that was a starter get a hit. Johan Rojas, the previous culprit to that, unfortunately. Let's get into the chat check and see. Oh, well, turning point. How dare I? Or not turning point. What are you be talking about tomorrow? How dare I?
This is what you'll be talking about.
If I had to guess what you'll be talking about tomorrow, it's the fact that the Phillies have won 2 in a row. They win tomorrow. That's a winning streak. 4:05 start time for the Phillies tomorrow as they attempt to win 3 games in a row. Bowden Francis will get the start again against the Phillies. He's 2-8 on the season with a 6.12 ERA. Did not fare too well the last time he faced the Phillies. That was his 1 2/3 innings pitch. So here you go. One of my thoughts during the game today, Phillies were up when they went up 8-0. I was like, all right, it's another rout. The first game, if you remember, they had against Toronto, they had a 6-run first inning. They went on to score. I think that was 8, right? Yeah, it was 8-3. They won that game. All right, Phillies go out there and win game 1 again, handily against the Blue Jays. Yay. Now you got to win game 2. Who are they facing in game 2? The same pitcher they rocked in game 1 of their 3-game series in Toronto in Bowden Francis. So love to see them tee off on him again. He gave up 2 home runs, 1 to Turner, 1 to Bryce Harper in that game on his way to the 7 earned runs that he allowed to the Phils. So Phils have a little bit of that magic back. Now, as for his last start, Bowden Francis, it was a 6-3 loss to the Minnesota Twins. He lasted just 3 1/3. It's miraculous. He's getting another start. 3 1/3, 4 earned runs. So 10 earned runs in his last 2 starts. 10 earned runs, 12 runs total. How about, there should be 11 runs total. How about that? Not too shabby. Keep it going, Phils. Keep it going for a real long time. All right, now let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are feeling about this one here. Crazy. I'm starting from the bottom up here. Where's Kemp go when Bryce gets back? I had the same thought. I don't want to see him go back down. I know Max Kepler has hit a little bit over the last couple of games. I would very much doubt that Kepler is going to be moved or Kemp's going to go to the outfield or something like that. But if you have a guy like this, he's got to play. He's got to play. I doubt they're going to keep him on the big league roster, unfortunately. I'd love to see him try and go out in the outfield. I think he's played outfield a couple times down in the minors, but I had the same thought. I think he is unfortunately going to go back down to the minors. Joel Elvers. So Kemp is staying up, right? I hope so. Joel Elvers, it's always Skeens. It is always Skeens. All right, now let me get back to the top here. Morgan Landing, 8-0, just like when we were in Toronto, but let's play better the next 2 games. I concur. Jess Patrick II, nothing about the Foofy Blue City Connect Laundry says win. Nothing about those connectors. It says win, but the Phillies did it anyway. Nice shutout. There you go. Polar Buck, where's this Phillies team been? Love being stressed at the sight of Walker on the mound, right? Mark, I think those uniforms would actually look better on the Blue Jays. You know what's funny? When they came out, I was like, okay, I like them. They're cool. And then as I watched them more and more, I just felt like these are the uniforms the Philadelphia Union would wear for a charity softball game. That's the thought that I had. I was like, People were like, "They look too much like the Brewers." I'm like, that's actually true, but that didn't really do it for me. And then as it went on, I was just like, this is just, it looks too much of a ripoff of the Philadelphia Union football club. You know what I'm saying? Joel Evers asking the chat, are they back? It feels like we're back. Oh, interesting. Farzy, thoughts. Thank you, Evelyn. Hello, Evelyn, by the way. Hi, Farzy. Thoughts on Otto at first versus third? First base tonight, he had a little bit of a blunder. I want to say it was the second inning. Second inning, Clement, grounded to him. He had trouble getting the ball out of his mitt. Also seemed a little hesitant, I thought, going after the ball, but got there and then couldn't get the ball out of the mitt to flip to Ranger Suarez to cover first. So that's just ironing out the kinks, so to speak. I like him at both. He had a great diving stop at third base the other day. I thought he's had some. What really impressed me today was at first base. He really stretched well off the bag. One, there was an instance where they turned two, in large part thanks to his split, whatever, reach. So love to see that for him. Joel Evers. Wow, we're covering the whole gambit with the City Connect uniforms. City Connect uniforms remind me of police uniforms, especially the pants. Excuse me, what'd you do with the offense? It's right here, officer. Jeremy Schreiber, what's going on? How you doing? Skyver. Sorry, buddy. Great win. Let's give thanks to the home plate umpire, who, in my opinion, contributed to the turning point of the game. Before Schwarber's 3-run home run, Trey Turner was gifted a walk right down the middle. He was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Chris Guccione. Bam Man 100. So much to love about this game, but one thing I really appreciated was Topper switching up the outfield. He had the urgency to push for the shutout. We need that juice. That's true. Bam, I think you called him out on that for not doing it in the past, Bam Man 100, and I'm with you. I think that was a good move today. Philly at 8. Is this heaven or Iowa? I don't know if I should buy or sell. Please be real. It's real. It happened. Look, the Blue Jays are a hot baseball team coming into this game. They recently got to 8 games over 500 before this one. Phillies took it to them in game one of the series against the game one of the series in Toronto. They're facing that same pitcher. Gausman, by the way, Kevin Gausman, their starting pitcher today, was visibly being frustrated. I think he had 5 3-ball counts, 3-2 counts, 5 full counts in the first 4 innings. He was visibly upset as the game went on, and the Phillies took advantage of it. So, yeah, more power to him. Mikey B, what do you think will happen when Hoffman comes to the mound? Cheers or boos? Well, supposedly they played a tribute video to Jeff Hoffman today at the ballpark, and he got cheered. So I can't remember a time where a reliever came into a game and got a standing ovation. Not that I think he'd get a standing ovation, but a smattering of cheers. I can't remember a time. I can only remember instances where it's been Cole Hamels never came back in that regard. Pitching for the Rangers. So yeah, I think he'll get a smattering of cheers. Can Weston Wilson go down, or is he on waivers? Also, I don't know if he has any. I got to see if he's any options left. But the Weston Wilson role for Otto Kemp, would it make sense? Because again, he's got to play. He's the type of player that's got to play. He was hitting .313 in the minors with 14 home runs, a .416 on base percentage. You got to keep him playing. You can't just sit him on the bench. So if he's going to play, the spot I would like to see him in is left field, because look, I know Kepler's been hitting, as I said a minute ago, but I don't think that's going to continue, unfortunately. So I would love to see Otto Kemp go out there and play a little bit in the outfield, see if he can handle that, because when Bryce Harper's back, he's obviously going to play first base. That's not happening. You might get a little split there when it comes to being able to play. He's played 7 games in left field. Yeah, he's played 7 games in left field. In his entire minor league career, he's played 2 games in right field. Wow. Okay. One time was the Arizona Fall League, so that doesn't count. The last time he was in right field was when he was playing. Oh, it was only last year. He's playing in the Jersey Shore League. Oh, not Jersey Shore League. Miscusi, the South Atlantic League. Miscusi. So there you go. Playing for Jersey Shore. There you go. So yeah, a little experience in the outfield there. Kepler has a lot more pop than Kemp, though all doubles and homers. Hard to figure that situation. I agree. Jeremy Von Skyver, hello again, buddy. They need to send Wilson down and leave Kemp up on the big squad. I'd love to see it happen, but they're not going to do it if he can't play. If he's not playing, they're not going to keep him up. Simple as that, unfortunately. Yeah, there you go. All right, tomorrow, we got a 4:05 start time, people. I mentioned it before. I'll mention it again. You're going to have Christopher Sanchez on the bump for the Phils tomorrow as they go for 3 in a row. Really look forward to that one falling out there. Bowden Francis will be getting the start for the Blue Jays. Went over the numbers already. I'll be back with you guys after that game. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to Locked On Sixers 76ers YouTube channel as well, where yours truly breaks down the Sixers with Keith Pompey now 5 days a week. And make sure you guys like and subscribe to Locked On Eagles as well, where yours truly brings it with the Eagle Squad, Jason Martinez, Harry Mays, and Louis DiBiase, 2 days a week on Eagle Squad podcast. But Locked On Eagles YouTube channel up and running daily with Louis DiBiase. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Can't wait to see you tomorrow after the Phillies win 3 in a row. Let's go Phils! Just like that. All of a sudden, it's June. See you guys then. Bye.